I want to let you guys know that today I don't have my mask on because I'm working from home, just like the rest of my team. All of the SOC team. We're all working from home. We're still working for you. You can call us 414-672-8090. You can send us an email, soc@socmilwaukee.org, or you're always able to leave your comments here on the forum, your opinions you can share in the survey. The link is in the comments. I also want to remind you that all of the points of view and the opinions here today are not necessarily those of SOC. And finally, we would also like to know who is with us today. So give us a like or a comment about the program. We are also going to talk about the upcoming week. Today, we have Sylvia Ortiz-Velez, County Supervisor of District 12. And she is also a representative of the State Assembly. Tomorrow, we will have Claire Evers, Commissioner of Public Health from the City of Milwaukee Public Health Department. Claire will be here giving us an update about COVID-19. And then on Friday, we'll have Rebecca Juarez. She is the Director of Programming at Core El Centro. So now we're going to welcome Sylvia Ortiz-Velez. We'll start her interview right now. Hello, Sylvia. I think your microphone's turned off. I can't hear you. Sorry. No, it's okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How's your day going? I know a lot's happened in the short time that we've been organizing this. So if you could say just, a little bit. In 1 week, because if we go from Monday, we've had committees for a COVID bill, talking about, all the things with COVID. It's very important right now because so many people are suffering right now. But then tomorrow, we're going to be in the Capitol voting on things. I'm sorry, but there are some things there that are not good. I mean, there are some good things, but there are some things that aren't good as well. So it's very difficult for all of us, but we're doing what we can. Well, I'm so glad that you're able to represent the community. You won in November, right? And then Monday is the first time that you're serving as a state representative in Madison, right? Well, congratulations. How does that feel? How are, your feelings finishing the campaign? Well, it's difficult, but I love it. I love talking to people. I love knocking on doors. It is a lot of work, but it's you can if it's easier in English. Oh, it's worth it. It's worth it. Yeah. There's sometimes that my brain doesn't have enough time because Spanish isn't my first language. It happens to be, and Spanish is my first language. I feel like I'm losing it a little, but we're going to start with some of the other questions that we've have written down for you. Can you tell us about your job as a county supervisor? What are your goals as a representative of the state assembly? What are the limits, the barriers, the size of your area, your district? Well, as a county supervisor, I am one of 18 other supervisors. We make decisions like budgets of billions of dollars every year. as a member of the Milwaukee County Committee, we have the Judicial Committee. There's also parks, public transport, and buses. The county is responsible for all of the public transportation and, of course, the parks. The court system, health services, human services, and services for older people, and then, of course, the airport too. And there's a lot more too. Like, as a legislator, I don't only vote about budgets, which is for billions of dollars, and that helps pay the bills for all of the government, the cities, the counties. But we also write laws. We create laws which affect everybody's life, the community. District 12 of the county and District 8 in the state are about the same. They're including Walker's Point neighborhood, Walker Square, Silver City, Burnham Park, Lincoln Village, Muskego Way, and Clark Square, and parts of Layton Boulevard. And then, just so that our listeners, those are the areas where you serve, right? And any person that has a question or a concern, they can come to you, and then you can help them, right? Absolutely. Thank you so much for that question. In the county, my phone number is 414-278-4269. And then for the state, my number is 1-608-267-7669. Thank you so much. You can also, if you want to communicate electronically, if you put my name in all the pages for the offices, you can find me there, and you can send me an email if you want to do it like that. Perfect. Thank you so much for all of that information. Next question. Your experience as a supervisor in District 8, how has that helped you now that you're a representative? Well, I was born and lived in Districts 12 and 8 my entire life. And I am very proud of my neighborhood. I have aunts, uncles, nephews, brothers, sisters that live in that community. And as a county supervisor and a lifelong resident, I do have a certain perspective to understand the problems that are important. And I mean, we're talking about everything from transportation to housing. And I love to talk to my neighbors. I will go door to door. Lots of times, people don't have the time. If anybody wants to talk to me, and that's what I love. I love talking to people door to door. That's the only way that you can represent people. I think you need to talk to them. You need to know the people that you're representing to know what they need and to know how you can help them. Yeah, that's a great tactic for our community. We're all super busy. We're all working so much. So we love that you're willing to do that. And then your platform, very progressive as well. What kind of diversity have you found in your political career? What have you done to overcome all of these diversities? And then, of course, how do you deal with that slow process in the political system? Well, there's lots of problems that come to my mind, but I would like to think that people that aren't in agreement is because they don't understand. Like, for example, in the zip code 53204 and 53215, we have lots of people that have died because of drugs. In the whole state of Wisconsin, we have the highest number. And me talking to lots of people, they've told me that cannabis has helped them. That's helped them a lot with all of the diseases that they have. And then they don't need to use medicine, like pharmaceutical medicines. Mm-hmm. Yep. How do you say it? Okay. I didn't know how to say it. You know, different medications, or they can use less of it. And then also people of color, brown people, black people, we suffer more of jail charges because of cannabis. So I do approve and support the legalization of cannabis so that we can have more access for people that need it to use it as medicine. Next month, well, actually this month, we're going to do a proposal in Milwaukee County. Right now, in Milwaukee County, there is a fine for possession of cannabis if it's less than 25 grams. It's a 250 or up to from 250 to $500. And then, of course, the court fees. And that can be a lot of money depending on, you know, what part of the county you're at. So I'm hoping to change that to be able to make the fine no more than $1. I also support driver's license for everybody's. That's another very controversial. Yes, very controversial. But I have learned that when we're doing the right thing, we do have to be a little brave, and we have to be strong. You have to be very strong and stand your ground. So I know that some of the things are controversial. I know that. Sometimes people don't agree, but I think it's because they don't understand. Yeah, that's the nature of the work and the political part. Not everybody's going to agree. That's why there's a process, you know, the democratic process, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I'm looking at this article from Urban Milwaukee. It mentions that you applied for the supervisor of the county. And it talks about how the county itself needs funds, is low in funds. How are you going to look at that? Well, year to year, Milwaukee County sends more and more money to Madison. And then we get less and less back every year, every year. Uh, People are paying more money to receive less from the government, less services from the government. And then that's not fair. That's not that's not fair. And lots of people are suffering. Mhm. the county of Milwaukee has almost 70% of the African American population of the entire state, and 40% of Latinos of the entire state are in Milwaukee County. So 25% of other people of color. So we are a county made up majority of minorities. I mean, if you compare it to all of the other 71 counties in Wisconsin. So we have a minority group that is receiving access to services from the government that aren't, they're not equal. So they're not receiving equal access to services. Okay, so in terms of, okay, so here's an example. In the state, everything should be the same. And if one person, a colored person in Milwaukee County needs to get some services or access to services from a different county, like if you're living in Waukesha, solo es justo y igual. I mean, I'm sorry, it's only fair. Honestly, I think that we need to look at racial equity and imparity. What are we doing? What are we doing with income and the budget to be able to help people in Milwaukee County? Because if not, we're not going to have money to offer the services that people need. One of the things that you mentioned on your internet page, and one thing that rang true with me, was the county has funds that doesn't change with inflation. And so when we give money to the state does change for inflation. So financially, it doesn't make sense. No. That's another very good point. Every year, starting with the budget, it's less than what we need every year. $30,000-$40,000 less. So the only thing that we can do to be able to have a budget that can actually pay for things is cut services every year. And that's not good, because the problem isn't that we're not paying enough taxes. We're paying enough taxes. That's not the problem. The problem is that they're not giving the money that we need for the services. And that's our money. And the money is there. It's right there. That's not the problem. The problem isn't that there isn't Mondays or that we're not paying taxes. We are. They just don't want to give the money to pay the bills. So every year we still need the services and they're not paying. So, just talking about parks and there aren't people to clean the parks, and it's because there's people in the community that help. The neighbors come out because we don't have the workers in the parks because they're cutting all the services. Exactly. And that's so unfortunate. Like you said, it's not fair that that's happening. And that's only one thing. There's 25 different departments in the county. Explain to us a little bit about how the pandemic has affected, your work, the people that you serve. It's very sad right now because we're all living through this thing, but we're all together. We're all living together through this. And it's a lot to process for a lot of people. For me too. At the county, we still have a lot of things to do this year. I was at the table with the courts, and we do need to make a lot of changes, close a lot of the courts. And the courts, everything's going to be like computer, like what we're doing here, talking through Zoom or another system. We do need to change a lot in the jails and in the airports and lots of the different things throughout the county need to change. This year has been very difficult because more and more people, homicides are higher, suicides are higher, and people that have died from drugs, those are higher too. So it's very difficult. It's really trying our institutions. Lots of people don't have work. Lots of people don't have food for their kids. People aren't in school, so kids are at home, and people need to work. And then also, the pandemic is just so difficult for everybody, I think. Yes, of course. All of our society. Super stressful for everybody in the community. I think so, yeah. And you're stuck at home, and there's like us, Latinos, we have so much, we're celebrating every year. We usually have so many, but not this year. Everything was canceled. Fiesta Mexicana was canceled. Puerto Rican Fest was canceled. We have different groups that, have so many things that they want to do. And we are always, as Latinos, we're always with our families. We're always eating. But this year is so sad. But there is light because there are there are vaccines. Vaccines are on their way. I do have a question. And anything else that anybody would like to share, go right ahead. If you want to comment about what's happening, if you want to ask the representative of the state anything, or if you wanted to say something, excuse me, if you wanted to say anything about what's happening in Washington right now. Well, yeah, let me say two things. We want to mention information about the process of redistricting. Every 10 years, the U.S. has a census. And then that information determines a lot. Talking about where the people that represent people are representing the areas, the districts. And then using that information, they do redistricting. That's a process that determines who are your representatives. And it's a big process. It goes a lot of time that goes into it. It's almost 2 years, but it starts in the city of Milwaukee, and I think in April, and then after that, going to the county, and then from there, I think around June, and then finally it goes to the state. And I don't know how long all that takes, but I think that then goes to the courts, possibly. So then we're going to have a court that will make the maps for the state. But the point is, redistricting is important. because it opens opportunities to change the representatives, to change the Latino voice. It can also change how many people are participating in the elections. And then another thing is in April, if you want to help me in March, if you want to help, or me, your neighbors, help us to clean other groups too. I can't do it all myself. So many of the parks, there's Mitchell Park. It's around 24th and Pierce, Clark Square. On the 24th and Mineral area, Walker Square, around 10th and Mineral, and Kosciuszko Park, around 7th and 10th to Lincoln. So I'll let you know when we're going to go. I'll put out an announcement on my Facebook. So if you want to come help, please come. Yeah, of course. We can also share those events on our Facebook as well. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your time. Best of luck with everything. And I was going to say congratulations, but no, thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for representing us. And we hope to have you back in the future so that you can continue to give us updates about the work that you're doing in the Capitol and Madison. Yes, I would love to be here again so we can talk about what we're doing, what's going on with the register, so that people can help. My work is less difficult when people help me. Yes, it's simpler when people help. Yes, exactly. When they help me. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good afternoon. Perfect. That was the state representative from District 8, Sylvia Ortiz-Velez. So now we're going to go up to an update about COVID. She's actually going to show us a video. Take care of yourself with the 16th Street Clinic. Hello, hello. Dr. Amayo from the 16th Street Clinic. We wanted to do a quick video to remind the community that the clinic is doing COVID-19 testing. Recently, we've had some questions from certain patients about how can I get the test? So we wanted to make sure that everybody knows that the test is available for most people. You just need to call and make an appointment. The only thing that you have to do is call 414-672-1353. As a doctor, one of the things that I'm seeing that worries me a little bit is that we have some patients that have symptoms of COVID-19 and they call us and they ask about the test, but they want to wait a few days. We wanted to be clear for people that if you have symptoms and you're worried that you might have COVID, don't wait. First, call the clinic, make an appointment, but while you're waiting, act as if it was a positive test. That's to prevent spreading the virus in the community and in your work and in commercial places like the store. So if you have any symptoms of COVID-19, waiting for your test, and we'll try and do it as soon as we can, but just stay home while you're waiting. Also, remember that COVID-19 symptoms are fever, cough, shortness of breath, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, rashes on the skin. And a very common symptom that we don't realize sometimes is that we lose our sense of taste and smell. And so also, just stay home. We have people that are still working, even though they have symptoms, and that's super dangerous. Also, people that are still taking care of their families, leaving their houses, and that means you could give the virus to your family and your loved ones. So if you have symptoms, call call and act as if your test was positive until you hear otherwise. There are a lot of people coming out positive in the south side of Milwaukee. So to be able to prevent that the virus keeps expanding in our community, it's so important that we take these precautions and that people are following all of the social distancing and staying at home, especially if you have symptoms. Thank you for your time. Perfect. Yes, we're still in a pandemic, so keep your distance, wear your masks. Now we're going to have an update with Gabe. I think she's going to be live with us. Let's see. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. I have lots of news for you today, but I'll try to be quick. First of all, people that have a social security number and you make less than 75,000 years as $1,000 per year as a single person, or 150,000 as a couple, you will be receiving a check from the government for $600. If you do not have a social security number, but your spouse does, your spouse will receive a check. And your children, if they're eligible. Also, yesterday, Georgia had their elections to elect 12 senators to represent their state. Up until now, 98% of the votes have been reported. Mr. Warnock, a Democrat, looks like he's going to win one of the seats. Mr. Ossoff, another Democrat, is also winning by 0.4% up till now. According to the election laws in Georgia, if a candidate wins with 0.5 or less of the votes, they can do a recount of the votes, or you can ask for a recount. So, like what happened in November, it can be a few days until we know who won. And then the election in Georgia, it has so much attention because it's going to determine which party takes control of the Congress. So so we're trying to figure out is it going to be a Democratic Party or a Republican Party? Third, the Congress of the U.S. is in meeting right now, although I think they finished with the debates because there were thousands of Trump supporters in the Capitol. But to talk about the debate that was happening in Congress, they were meeting to certify, finally, the results of the presidential elections. And as expected, the Republicans were fighting the results from Arizona. So that started a debate of 2 hours that ended up with a vote to determine whether they were going to eliminate the electoral votes. That process can be repeated for every state that has an objection from a representative or a senator. But because it's controlled by the Democratic Party, it's very probable that they eliminate those electoral votes. But like I said, there are thousands of Trump supporters getting together in the Capitol right now. Some of them passed by barricades, other security stops, up the stairs inside the Capitol, and they somehow got into the building. It's really crazy, and we will keep following what's happening, but please be careful when you're out, people. We never know what could happen. I think that the Vice President, Mike Pence, has been, I'm seeing right now, he's been evacuated out of the Senate where they were doing the debates. And I imagine that if they haven't done it already, they're going to have to evacuate the other representatives as well. But honestly, it is crazy right now. So that's all that I have for you guys right now. Any questions that you have, please put it in the comment section and I will follow up. Take care. All right. Well, thank you, Gabe, for the update. I'm reading right now in the Associate Press that the candidates for Senate have won their chairs. So it looks like now there is Democratic control in the Senate. I want to say hi to everybody that has given us a comment here on Facebook. We have Maria de Jesus. Hello, hello. She's always with us. I love it. So great to see her again. Diana is with us again. Hello, hello. Thank you for being with us. Sydney is also with us. Thank you so much. She asked what services are available. And because today we had representative here. So Sylvia and Elizabeth Ramirez, thank you so much for being with us. Also, remember, you can help us fill out the survey, the questionnaire. Any opinion, suggestion that you have, please share it with us. So now our last interview with Cesar Castillos. He's a public ally that he works with Milwaukee Riverkeeper. So let's see if we can bring on Cesar. Hello, hello. How are you? I'm good. How are you? Good, good, good. Just finishing up my work day. Thank you so much for being with us. We have been in contact and talking, and it's so great to see you here. If you could start by talking to us a little bit about what is Milwaukee Riverkeeper and a little bit about your position there. Yeah, of course. I'm really excited to be here with you guys. Part of my work is to connect the Latino community with organizations like Milwaukee Riverkeeper. And Milwaukee Riverkeeper is an organization for the environment. Basically, we work to keep the rivers available for swimming and fishing. Our mission is always to better and defend water quality here in the city of Milwaukee and of the earth as well, the earth that runs under the rivers. So we have the Milwaukee River, the Menominee River, and the Kinnickinnick River that we help take care of. Milwaukee Riverkeeper also forms part of the Water Alliance, which is an organization, a group, an international group that works to guarantee that the waters are safe. And then part of my work is connecting with the community, interpreting and translating things to Spanish, reaching out to the community so they know the events and how they can help the environment. Very good. Can you tell us a little bit about, different programs, different things that Milwaukee Riverkeeper has, different activities, you as a worker, what you do, maybe some of your colleagues, what they do? Sure. Part of the work that we all do as members of Milwaukee Riverkeeper is we patrol the rivers. We have a boat and we go out and we patrol to make sure there's not a lot of contamination. Sometimes there are factories or like a pipe will break and that'll cause lots of contamination. So we'll report it to whoever's responsible so that they can fix the problem. We also work with a program that monitors water quality, the quality of the water. And we also have been, we've been doing this for over 15 years. So we take all of that information, which is super important because that way we can see if the water quality is changing, if it's getting better, if it's getting worse. Also, we just finished the 2019 annual report where Milwaukee received a grade of 65.6%. That's not the best, like what we would like to see, but it did get better a little from 2018. So the goal is to always get better, to improve. And we also think that Milwaukee has broke records for the amount of rain that fell last year, and that can also affect the quality of the water. We're hoping that for 2020 the report's a little better. And then we also have opportunities for learning. We have a coordinator that works with the schools here in Milwaukee on the Southside. He works with Carmen Middle School, Carmen High School, and Escuela Verde, along with some other schools. And he puts together lessons about the waters in Milwaukee, about the rivers that exist, what fish are in the rivers. And then there are introductory basic lessons, why it's important to take care of our waters. And then there's some other advanced things too, where the students can go out to the rivers, use our equipment to get samples of the water to check into its quality. We also have the companies, we work with the companies that control the snow and the ice. So anybody that wants to learn about that, better ways to control it right now in the winter with cold, rain, snow, ice forms, and everybody's putting salt out. And so people should know that the water that you put out, the salt that you put out can affect the water. And so we're all there just to teach people. It's all free. Right now, we don't have dates exactly, but you can fill out a form and we will contact you once we have the dates. It's maybe, 3 or 4 hours. It's a great program. I really recommend it. I learned a lot as a homeowner. And then finally, if you could say a little bit about what is the reason that you're with this organization, a little bit about your history here in Milwaukee, why you're doing the work that you're doing. Of course. I grew up in Milwaukee, and I remember when we would go with my parents on the 27th Street Bridge. A horrible smell, really. It was horrible. All the garbage, the contamination in the river. But with the time, there have been organizations just like the City of Milwaukee, Milwaukee Riverkeeper, the MMSD. They've all been working to clean up our water. And I think that if we create connections with our rivers, with our resources, natural resources, we're hoping that we'll be able to keep the rivers clean. And then another way that people can help is using less plastic. Use their, like disposable plates, things like that. I know it's not easy, but little by little, we can make changes. To put in perspective, 85% of fish in our rivers are contaminated with plastic. Yeah. So, and these are fish that people in the community eat. And there's an average of human eats about a credit card of plastic per day through water, through food. And that's because of the same thing. The waters are contaminated. And not just the waters, other parts of nature as well. We're talking about in the rivers of Milwaukee, and with our volunteers, we pick up garbage. 80 to 90% of the garbage that we pick up is plastic. That's why we focus so much on reducing the use of plastic. And since I'm talking about plastic and volunteers, another program that we have is called Adopt a River. Any person, family, organization, group can adopt a section of any of our rivers, and they promise to clean up that area 2 times a year. Milwaukee Riverkeeper will give you the gloves and the bags that you need, and then a form to also report what kind of garbage you found. So if anybody would like to do that, adopt part of the river, it's a great thing to do it as a community. You can be individual or as a group in the community, and we are recommending that you, of course, use your social distancing, using masks when you go out. Well, thank you so much, Cesar. Thank you for all of the information. Taking care of our waters is something basic that we all need to do for our society. So it's the basic things that we need to do, and we're going to keep working at all the different levels to be able to promote all this. So thank you again. And hopefully we will see you soon here again, or maybe, bring somebody else from the organization just so that they can give us a little more information, in spring or whenever there's more opportunities. Of course. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you, Cesar Castillo from Milwaukee Riverkeeper, for being with us. So now we're going to do some final reminders. Tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to have the Public Health Commissioner from the Public Department of Health, Claire Evers. Most of us know her because she's been with us so many times before, talking to Marlene about COVID. And this time she's going to bring an update about vaccines. I'm not sure what exactly she's going to talk about, so just tune in. And then Friday, Rebecca Juarez. She is a programming director at Core El Centro, and she will be here with us on Friday. As always, we want to thank all of our listeners. We are in solidarity with all of the protesters, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement. We also want to say that our thoughts and prayers are with the families that have been affected by COVID-19, especially those that have been sick and those that have passed away. So our thoughts and prayers are with you. And now we're just going to give our partners thank yous. Thank you so much for being with us. Hello, SOC followers. I'm Marisol Diaz, Digital Communications Manager. We would like to thank all of you for supporting our 3 o'clock with SOC forum and for completing our survey. Other than thanking all of our residents for tuning in and for sharing our program, we also want to thank the following sponsors: Wisconsin Voices, Community Development Block Grants, Neo Philanthropy State Infrastructure Fund, Movement Voter Project, Catholic Campaign for Human Development, Zilber Foundation, City of Milwaukee Office of Violence Prevention, Ties Foundation, State Infrastructure Fund, Wisconsin Partnership Program, and all of the faithful people that have supported SOC through their personal donations. Thank you so much.